Let us see next method, that is froth flotation method for the concentration of ore. Froth flotation method. I'll just draw a rough diagram of this. So here there's a very nice story behind this particular method, that is froth flotation. It seems a washerwoman once she used to get clothes from the mining areas, also the people who work in mining areas. So once she observed that when she was washing cloth, there were some particles in the froth. Froth means, you know, right? Nore. In that she saw that there were some tiny particles, dark colored particles. So she had a curiosity to know what it was actually. So she went to one of her friend. She knew a scientist, a lady scientist. So she went to her and she told her that I have seen these kind of particles, what those particles are actually. And that scientist, she took it, she just took it for an experiment. She checked it out and then she found that those ore particles, those are nothing but some sulfide ore particles which were present. And she told that. Now an idea struck this scientist that why can't we use this process for the concentration of ore, because you know that for the concentration of ore we want the process to be economical as well, isn't it? We don't want to spend too much of amount for one simple process. So that is why they thought, okay, this can be used for the concentration of ore, and hence it is said that this process they have started using. Let me give you a picture of this. So first what we need for this is, we need powdered ore. You can imagine this like a recipe also. Okay, we have to take powdered ore, prepare a suspension of it in water. Powdered ore is taken and a suspension of it is prepared in water. That means it is mixed with water. Suspension, prepare a suspension in water. Before adding this powdered ore, what we have to do is, along with that, we add substances called as collectors and stabilizers. Now, what is the role of these? The role of these are important, and this method is again important. Collectors and stabilizers are also added. Let me explain you there. So, what is added here? The pulp of ore. You call it as pulp of ore, plus pine oil. It's not only pine oil, any fatty acids also can be added. Here you will have soapy solution. This is rotating paddle. It's rotating paddle. Okay, rotating paddle, where after the reaction you see froth formation. We'll see how it happens. I'll tell you how actually it happens. Okay. Now what has to be done? Powdered ore is mixed with collectors and stabilizers, and a suspension of it is prepared in water. Now when this paddle is rotated, when it is rotated, what happens? The solution gets stirred up. Here it will be a soapy solution. It contains soapy particle. Or just by adding the pulp of the ore with pine oil and this froth stabilizer increases the froth content. When it just rotates, froth will be produced. Yes, this froth will be produced. And the ore particles which are present, it gets mixed up and it goes to the surface along with the froth. Whereas the gangue particles which are present, so we have which are the particles we have? Ore we have gangue particles also. These ore particles, they raise to the surface. They go to the surface, whereas these gangue particles, they settle down. Now let us see how actually they settle down or how actually they raise up. Here what happens, the role of collectors is that it enhances or increases the non-wettability of ores. What happens now? Collectors will tell the ore particle. It will tell the ore particle that, see, you don't get mixed up with water. Let the gangue particle get mixed up with water so that it settles down. But you get mixed up with me in the sense with collectors like oil. Which are the collectors used also? I'll tell you. Collectors used are either pine oil or fatty acids or xanthates are used as collectors. So these collectors will tell, or you don't get mixed up with water, but you get mixed up with me, collectors, so that I will take you to the surface along with the froth. Whereas the gangue particle gets wet by water and it remains in the solution itself. So okay, fine. Now ore gets wet by oil, whereas gangue gets wet by water. What is the role of stabilizer here? The role of stabilizer is it stabilizes froth. That means it helps to increase the froth content in the solution, because we want more and more froth so as to separate the ore particles. Is that clear now? Okay, so let me come with it again. What is done? Ore is taken, powdered ore is taken, a suspension of ore with the water is prepared. Collectors and stabilizers are also added. The role of collector is to increase the non-wettability of ore particles. Then examples you need to know. Examples are pine oil, fatty acids or xanthates. Stabilizers, examples for stabilizers are cresols or aniline. Cresol or aniline can be used as stabilizers. So these stabilizes the froth. Now when the paddle rotates, it agitates air. Agitates air means it helps in the supply of air into the tank. When the paddle rotates, then it agitates air into the tank, because of which froth is produced. Now the ore particle that is mixed with the oil rises up and gets into the froth along with the froth, whereas the gangue particle, which is wet by water, gets settled down. Now this particular froth which is formed can be skimmed off and it can be separated. It can be dried and you can get the concentrated ore from it. Now for which type of ores do you get this particular method can be applied is, remember, for sulfide ores, this method is applicable. Sulfide ores like lead sulfide, zinc sulfide, iron sulfide, this particular method can be applied. Now what if it contains a mixture of 2 or more sulfide ores? If it contains a mixture of 2 or more sulfide ores, what happens? Say for example, you have taken an ore, and in that you see that there is a mixture of lead sulfide. Pb stands for lead. You have lead sulfide as well as you have zinc sulfide. Now in this case, how do you separate it? How you separate it is, a chemical called as depressant is added. A chemical called as depressant is added. Now what happens if you add a depressant? You know, depressant example can be sodium cyanide or potassium cyanide. What happens when you add? So depressant will say lead sulfide only can go into the froth, but zinc sulfide should stay there itself. So zinc sulfide stays in the solution itself, whereas lead sulfide, it rises along with the froth. Then what happens? Lead sulfide, the particle you can skim off, separate it, dry it. Now after that you can separate zinc sulfide by the same procedure. Most of the times they add depressant, otherwise they just make some changes in the proportion of oil and water when they add here. With that also it can be carried out. So is this method clear of froth flotation? Please do note it, it's important. We shall move on to the next very important procedure or the process called as leaching. So what is the principle behind leaching of the ore? Leaching. One example that has been mentioned in the syllabus is for aluminium. That again we will study. The principle of this is the ore must be soluble. This method is adopted for those ore particles which are soluble in suitable solvents. For those we can apply this particular method. Okay, we'll see an example. Example is leaching of aluminium ore, that is bauxite. Leaching of bauxite to obtain pure alumina. Pure aluminium is in the alumina in the sense concentrated alumina. Okay, so here it involves 3 important steps. It's very easy. They keep asking this question in the examination. Sometimes they'll ask you to write the this chemical equations for it. Most of the times they ask you to explain the steps of it as well. So the first step is, what is done? You're going to take powdered ore. Powdered ore is digested with, or digested means dissolved in concentrated sodium hydroxide solution. Clear? So powdered ore is taken, it is added to concentrated sodium hydroxide solution. Now here we have to follow condition at 473 to 523 Kelvin temperature and 35 to 36 bar pressure. These are the conditions. Now let us see the equation, how the equation goes. So you know powdered ore, bauxite. Bauxite means Al2O3XH2O we have written now. We'll take Al2O3 now. Alumina, Al2O3 is treated with what? It is treated with, or it is digested in a solution of sodium hydroxide. Solution of sodium hydroxide means water also it contains. What is the temperature condition? If you can mention here, you can. Otherwise, in the explanation itself, if you would have mentioned, is also clear. 35 to 36 bar pressure. Now, what do you get? You get sodium aluminate. Sodium NaAlOH4, which is called as sodium aluminate. So the first step, how we are going to explain? Okay, sodium aluminate. Here just try to balance it. Though it's a common equation, here Al2O3, write 2 here, 2 aluminium, so I'll write 2 here. Here it is 2 sodium, so I'll write 2 here. Then to balance oxygen, here it is 4 2s are 8. So I'll make it as 3 plus 2 plus 3. Balances. So how do you explain? Powdered ore, that is powdered bauxite is digested in concentrated sodium hydroxide solution at 473 to 523 Kelvin and 35 to 36 bar pressure. Sodium aluminate is formed. This is the first step. Alright, we'll move on to the second step. It's very easy. Step 2 is, now you have got sodium aluminate, no? This sodium, through this sodium aluminate, carbon dioxide gas is passed. So, carbon dioxide gas is passed through sodium aluminate. Sodium aluminate. What happens? Hydrated alumina is precipitated. Easy. Just see. So what is happening? Sodium aluminate, NaAlOH4. What has been passed? Carbon dioxide. What do you get here? You get hydrated alumina. Hydrated alumina means, I have told you, the formula is Al2O3. Hydrated means it contains some mole of water along with it. Hydrated alumina, Al2O3, XH2O. What can be the byproduct? You have sodium, hydrogen, carbon dioxide, NaHCO3, sodium bicarbonate is the byproduct there. Now balance it. Here 2, there 2. Aluminium is 2, so I'll write 2 here. Then again, here to balance in sodium is 2, I'll write 2 here. You can balance carbon as well. You can write 2 here also. Generally it is given this way because here we have X moles of H2O. That means it can be any number of moles. So we usually do not try to balance it particularly, thoroughly. So generally you can balance it this way. Is it clear? And here you need to add one more point. That is, here this is hydrated alumina, isn't it? This is hydrated alumina. To get hydrated alumina, what they usually do is they add freshly prepared hydrated alumina. So to increase the precipitation rate, please do make a note of it. Here, after noting this point, you say freshly prepared hydrated alumina is added to increase the precipitation of alumina. If these two steps are clear, let's move on to the last very important step. Okay, last step is very easy. Now you have got hydrated alumina here, isn't it? Here you have got hydrated alumina. We are just going to dry it. Okay, step 3. Hydrated alumina is heated up to 1470 Kelvin, then dried. Right? Dried. So what is the equation? How do you write? Hydrated alumina is heated to 1470 Kelvin. What do you get? When you heat, what happens? This water gets separated as water vapor. So just here a plus comes, Al2O3 plus XH2O. This is what we wanted. This is the alumina which is concentrated one. Very easy, isn't it? So please go through it. The 3 important steps, very, very important. First, powdered ore is digested with sodium hydroxide. Since we say solution, we take water here at 473 to 523 Kelvin, 35 to 36 bar pressure. You get sodium aluminate. In the next step, carbon dioxide is passed through this, and to increase the precipitation of hydrated alumina, freshly prepared hydrated alumina is also added, so that hydrated alumina precipitates. Now this precipitate is separated, and then the hydrated alumina is heated to up to 1470 Kelvin, where it gets separated out. Please do practice the reactions as many times as possible and do study this. We'll meet with the next video. Thank you.